Miss Timid Tell. There's a woman in there. Let her out. Let her out. Show it, girl. Feel it. If you girls swing hard enough, you'll feel the presence of Diana Ross, the boss, Miss Mahogany. Yes, bitch. That's my man. It takes guts to do what these men are doing. Stepping out of their comfort zone and into the shoes of another. We should all do this more. If we did, we would make a better world. Judges your scores to pray. 10, 10, 10, 10. No.
Come on, Kiki. You see these?
Payback's a bitch pray, isn't it?
That's all right. I know my pump is high enough to be in the competition.
Can't help revenge, man.
It is Kitten Hill revenge.
Okay, grand prize goes to my baby, Lamar Winkle!
If you are gay and black, then femininity can be your superpower, but can sometimes lead to other gay people as well as outsiders questioning your masculinity. For any gay person of color looking for the strength to live in that femininity as they see fit, this is the show for us. On this episode of Friendship Full Circle, we will be speaking with Leondre and Osirus of the podcast Cuntversation, which delves into topics of life and sex in the world of everything gay, black, and cunt. Join us for a very honest conversation.
We popped our cherry. This is our first invite.
Oh, really? Y'all ain't never been invited on anything else?
No.
Really?
Not
well,
that
I'm glad I was able to do this and bring you guys.
Virgin's not mine. Trying to get this pussy working. Ow.
I live for it. OMG. Okay.
Girl, we're Kiki girls. Like, we don't give a fuck.
Okay. Welcome to Friendship Full Circle, a podcast that connects you to spirit and healing through conversation and arts. I am your host, Sean J. Frencha, and today I am joined by some very bright and interesting people, Leondre and Osirus of Cuntversation. If you guys can, just tell the people, what is Cuntversation? What is it about? How did you guys create it? And tell the people about you guys individually.
Yes, my name is Osirus, and I'm pretty much just a creative curator. Like, I like to curate different things. I'm pretty much in like fashion more than anything. So like source and curate different catalogs for different brands. I like to create and produce different campaigns as well. I like to do, well, it's not I like to do, is what I do. Conversation. I do a little graphic designing, slightly politely. I'm just an all-around cunt. That's really what I am and what I do. I can honestly do anything that I want to do.
So I'm Leondre. I do music. I do a little styling here and there. Basically, kind of like Osirus said, I pretty much do whatever I want to do or anything I want to do. So just like a kind of like all around creative. Conversation is our podcast. It's basically just a podcast that explores the experience of being black, gay, and to like bring it all in. It started back in 2020 during quarantine lockdown, but it was birthed way before that. It actually had a different name. We actually had the idea first, I think in like 2018, maybe 2019. Different name, extra co-host, but we were jokes as we always are, so we didn't do anything. We didn't act on it until quarantine when we just locked down in the house. But yeah, we basically just bring on the cunts, and the cunts are just black, gay people who are just, owning themselves. And that's basically what a cunt is. Like, there's no really specific definition for a cunt because, like, everyone's cunt is different. But, we believe everyone is cunt. And we also just felt like there wasn't a space where there were being conversations amongst people like us that were just like very regular, very chill, that weren't like very like dramatized or like built up to like fit some stereotype that everyone feels that we fit into or whatever. So it's like super chill. We just bring on people who we just vibe with or feel like we will have a vibe with, so everyone else can vibe with them. Did you want to add anything about conversation?
Yes, and we're not serious at all. We're kiki cunts. Everything is a key for us. That's really what makes conversation what it is that it's just a key. It's a regular conversation where we like to key and laugh. And like he said, vibe with people and see what they're about and promote their cuntness.
For the cunt.
And before we go further, explain to people what is Kiki Cunt. Kiki, what is that? Because some people may not know, some people in the audience may not know what that is.
Well, honestly, every motherfucker is using Kiki now. Because I remember like seeing straight people or hearing straight people say, I'm like, okay, shut out. But pretty much Kiki is just like a joke, a haha, a Kiki, like a laugh. That's really what it is.
I'm glad that we're talking about like cunt and Kiki, because one of the reasons why I thought about you guys for this conversation is just in my like interactions with you both, like together and separately, you both exude some like fully in control of their masculine, but there's like a like je ne sais quoi, like feminine. Like I remember one of the first times that I saw Osirus, and I was like, okay, he don't really like it's something different. Like he's like fully like, it's like when you see him, he's like in control. The look, the image, the direction, he's in control. And then with Leondre, there's that in control, but there's like a softness to it. And I feel like what I love about you both is that you both are fully comfortable in your femininity. And especially for someone like me growing up, like just navigating like being gay and Black, and then being gay and you grew up in a church and you're surrounded by heterosexual men, you kind of like, how would I put it? I think I remember like one of the earliest thoughts of me being gay and feminine. It's kind of like, okay, you know that this exists, but there's not a place for you to like fully exude that without being judged or being challenged for having that femininity. So my first question for you guys is, how do you define femininity for you, and how did you first accept that within yourself?
I would just say being a faggot and just embracing it. Like, I don't really know how to say it without saying that. Like,
faggot. 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 Fucking faggot. Faggot. Faggot.
You're a faggot!
Oh, fags. Faggot.
Faggot.
A faggot.
Faggot. Faggot. Faggot.
like, I've always been feminine, like, since I was a little kid. I mean, I grew up in a single mother household. I have a sister. Pretty much majority of my cousins are women. I just grew up around a lot of women, so I guess I just, was just following the herd. As far as like mannerisms and all that when it came to being feminine, I always been a bit flamboyant. I was that cousin, that nephew that they were like, there's a little swirl to him.
This one has a little sweetness to it.
And I've always pretty much embraced it. Like, I didn't embrace it fully to the fact where I was just like, I came out and was like, hey, I'm a faggot. Just because I did, like how you were saying, Marshawn, I did grow up in a very like religious background. So I always owned my femininity. I just didn't like couple it with like my sexuality. It was just like, I was just, just a feminine boy, but, I feel like the girls at the time.
I would say pretty much honestly the same thing. It's just really without limitations. Also, thank you for the kind words earlier. Yeah, it's just really without limitations. I do whatever the fuck I want to do.
Now I do what I want. We say. Now I do what I want. We say. Now I do what I want. Let's go. Now I do what I want. Now I do what I want. Now I do what I want. Now I do what I want.
I wear whatever I want to wear, even if it doesn't necessarily seem like I should wear it according to everybody else or according to the actual clothing department or whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna wear it because it looks good on me, and you would say the same thing. Or just how I walk. Like I be noticing, like I be having like a little switch in my walk, and it don't even really be on purpose, but it's there. It's always been there. I remember back in the day, I would try to stop it, but it was just like, girl, I've always been a motherfucking faggot. Like, faggot on my motherfucking forehead. I look like a girl. Like, everyone used to think I was a girl. People still think I'm a fucking girl.
You're not a girl, bitch.
And it's just, so it was just like inevitable to be a faggot.
No, that was one of the first things. That's why I was saying, like, that, like, direct, just like tunnel vision. I remember, like, that was one of the main things that when I think of you, that's what I think of is your walk. It's like Naomi Campbell, like, very demanding, like, very, like, you know what? If you know, you know. Like, it was like a little intimidating, but also it was very much nice to see someone that, like, you can tell that you, like, I don't want to keep using the word like, but like, you can tell that there's a full understanding of who you are and what you are and like how you want to be seen in the world, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does make sense, and thank you again. It wasn't, I'm not gonna say it's always been like that, and even then, and even now, I still like struggle with that. Like, that's another story. But yes, even honestly, with my walk, as in walking for fashion shows and things of that sort, I don't even think my walk was all of that at first, because I used to be, we were talking about earlier, I used to be in Picture Perfect. We both were in Picture Perfect, and that was a modeling troupe organization and whatnot. And I remember the first semester, nothing was like a thing. I was just walking how I walked or whatever. And then I remember the second semester, I came back and I was walking, and one of the e-board members, Sherelle, shout out to Sherelle, she literally commented and said, "Oh, your walk got better." I was like, first I was a little taken back, like, bitch, what was wrong with my walk before? But I don't know, so I don't know how that happened, but shout out to it happening, because yeah, it's a walk portion. I don't know if I still have, I haven't walked in a while.
That leads into the next question that I have for you both. For what I've seen is that I don't necessarily want to keep calling it toxic masculinity, because I think masculinity, when you fully understand it within yourself, it can be very, like, and you know what it truly is, there can be something very beautiful about seeing a man in their masculinity. But I would want to say, I don't want to call it toxic masculinity. I would say it's just limited masculinity. With that being said, I feel like specifically for gay Black men growing up, and you have men who, you know, like, they see that in their child, they kind of like instill that. For me, limited masculinity stems from a fear. And I feel like with that, growing up as a gay Black man, you sometimes, when you grow up, and it's kind of like, okay, like I said before, like, you know it's there, but there's a fear of showing it and not knowing how people are going to react to you exuding this type of energy and behavior. My next question would be is why do you think gay men, particularly black gay men, find it hard to accept that feminine energy within themselves?
I think it's because, like, people always have an opinion, people always have something to say, and to be real, like, as much as people be like, oh, what other people think, what other people say, how other people view me, that don't really matter to me, I'm gonna do me, da-da-da. There's always gonna be some part of you where what people say, how people view of you, what people say, da-da-da, is going to affect you. You have to work on that to get to the point where it doesn't affect you, or it doesn't affect you as much as it will. Because I feel like it always will at some point. It's just how small have you minimized it. So I feel like for a lot of people, they just haven't minimized those thoughts of like what others feel about them. It's also just like, I think the black community and Christianity, they're like really interwoven. So we have like a lot of almost, well, I'm not gonna say almost all, but a lot of black gay men, or a lot of black men who want to embrace their femininity. They come from like this super strong religious background, when they know as soon as they do something like that, there's gonna be somebody be like, fix your fucking walk, you sissy, this, that, and the third, some da-da-da.
Yeah, pretty much back to what Leondre was saying. It's people are worried too much about what other people think, and being black and a guy, you're supposed to be this alpha person, and they don't think anything feminine is alpha at all. Like, that's a real life thing. Like, I've been having conversations with my dad about how men are supposed to be leaders, and they're not. Men and women aren't equal. So if you had this femininity about you, you're automatically looked as lesser than. So, and then you're not accepted. Even in like you said, the black gay community, it's fucking, you look crazy being, I'm not gonna say all of the community thinks this, but a majority of the community really thinks you should be this masculine thing. If you are, it even matters on how you look. Like, you could be masculine looking, but if you act feminine, oh, it's a turnoff for a lot of people. Or if you're like feminine, but you are actually, or you're feminine looking, you're actually masculine, it just looks crazy. Like, people don't let people be multifaceted or have different aspects about themselves. So people are very narrow-minded in their viewpoint and their perspective of how other people should be, and then that allows oneself to like only want to be this certain way, and it makes people scared to be all of them at once.
I can agree with both of those sentiments. Hit the nail on the coffin. I just feel like too sometimes that, especially when you say with how you look, but I feel like sometimes, like, even with your skin color or your race, I feel like if you are like my complexion or like Leondre's complexion, they kind of like hyper-masculinize you in a way. You are light-skinned, or you're white, or you may be like any other like person of color. It's I don't want to say you get a pass, or you can get away with being like feminine, because I don't know. I just feel like it's almost in a way it's like it's expected. Like, oh, okay, let's treat them a little bit less, a little bit more docile than we would somebody of like a browner skin complexion.
But that's with the black community in general, like dark skin and light skin, like with women and men. Like, how with people with fair complexion, they're always like, even guys in the straight community, they're like, oh, they're weak, they're babies, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, you acting like a light skin if you cry or something like that. Like, that's a thing. So it's not even just with the gay community, it's just with the Black community in general.
To your point about like us being like a marginalized group already within like being like Black and gay, it's like the same thing with just like when you think about like why is there this distinct segregation between like white gays and Black gays when like gay people are already marginalized, but when you bring race into it, there's still like separations and there's still like classes. So like, I just think humans love for there to be like some classism, some hierarchy. A bitch always gonna want to be on top of the next bitch, and because of that, these things will always exist.
And that leads into the next question that I have. It's so funny that you speak of hierarchies. Is that not even just like with skin color and racial orientation, but also I feel like there's like this weird, I don't want to say hierarchy, but it's always something like around like tops, bottoms, verse,
Sides.
Exactly. Like if you a bottom, they bottom shaming you. But if you look masculine and you like feminine and you a top, then that's been my experience. If you feminine and you a top, they looking at you like you crazy, then you become unattractive. That leads into the next question that I have, which is, like I said, there's a lot of shaming and policing of gay men and like what they can do, even like with their sexual positions, and like, why do you guys think that is?
Because as much as gay people like to separate themselves from straight people and heterosexualism, we all fall into it because all it is just like the social construct of like a man is masculine, a woman is feminine. So then they just bring that over into like homosexuality, where it's like, oh, a top is masculine, a bottom is feminine, versus like whatever, da. So it's just like people love to follow a system, so they're really just going with the flow.
Bitches need to mind their business. That's really what it is. Like on some real shit. If somebody's like that, who gives a fuck? That's what they're like. You know what I'm saying? As in, like, if they feel like you are this type of way and they don't fuck with you because you're this type of way, but you're really this type of way, they're not for you at the end of the day. So I don't really give a fuck if you feel some type of way because I'm presented as this, but I'm actually this. Then we don't need to work out. Shout out to the femtops. It's definitely still femtop season.
Out to the mass bottoms.
Yes.
Because it's like,
and verse people do exist. You know, they like to erase the verse and the bisexual. They exist.
People do exist. I'm so tired of bitches dismissing like whole people. Like,
but it's like, cause sometimes motherfuckers really do be like on some real shit. I get why they dismiss sometimes like the verse or the bisexuals, because a lot of times they were really one thing. They just wanted to have that kind of to act like they wasn't. So I get it.
I mean, that's the thing, but people also have to understand that's not everyone. You can't agree everyone with that.
Exactly. You're exactly right.
I agree. I just feel like, I don't know, what is this desire to like, we're gay, but also we still want to abide by like straight people rules in a way. And I can say too, for me, I've been like that in the past. Like, for example, there was somebody that I knew and somebody that I messed with, and they were dating, and they were both bottoms, and it kind of like puzzled me in a way. I was like, I was like, okay, what's going on as you grow? I feel like people should be allowed to do what they want with their bodies, but also to really explore their bodies and see what works for them. And then that's another thing too, because I feel like so many of us be thinking with our body parts and not really like getting to know people for real. So I feel like it kind of like stops us from building, and this is a whole nother conversation, but it stops us from like building like genuine relationships with people because we're so like stuck on like body parts and, like I said, presenting a certain way. I don't know. I feel like that's something that I've seen with a lot of gay people is that they will lower themselves down just to be accepted or to get some form of attention. And I can say that because I've done it before. Like when you are talking to someone and they ask you, I hate that question when they ask you, oh, are you masculine or are you feminine? And for some reason when they look at you, you know, they ask, are you masculine or are you feminine? And I'm just like, I'm attracted to you, but am I attracted to you that much that I will lower myself to present something that I just don't give all the time?
Motherfuckers don't know how to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Literally. Like, they're all about small talk. They're all about, like you said, body parts. Like, that's really what's wrong with a lot of, I don't want to like say people because it's all of us. Yeah, we don't know how to have a conversation, like a real life conversation. We don't know how to build, like you said, relationships, a friendship first. Like, you don't even know if you really actually like this person. You are really just attracted to people. And that's why I don't necessarily like the idea of somebody trying to talk to me out in public, because you're really only talking to me because you like how I look, not who I am. Like, it's so weird to me, the whole idea of, and I get it because vision is first. Like, I want to talk to somebody that I'm attracted to as well, but it's just like so much more than that. That's just the cherry on top, my looks. Literally, it's really, I don't even know, it might be the sprinkles. Cause it's like so much motherfucking more.
I said I'm with you because I feel the same way. As far as like being over, like people talking to you out in public. I'm just over people. I feel like majority of men who approach me is all physical. It's all physical. It's all, I'm tired of it. So that's why I just be chilling by myself. I don't really entertain these people because like you said, no one really wants to have a real conversation. I'm tired of the what you doing and you done sent it for like the 5th time within 2 hours. It's like, this is not a real conversation. I'm not really putting my energy into things that are just like a waste of time.
So my question is, how you're talking to somebody and you find them attractive, they find you attractive, how do you have a conversation with them? Like an actual conversation. Do you ever get to that point to have an actual conversation with them?
I do. It's rare, but I do. Just letting the conversation flow, letting it go. Like, I feel like a lot of times, I feel like when I do talk to dudes, it's like I feel like I'm having a conversation with myself. Like, I'm conversating, sparking this stuff, sparking that up, and I'm just getting hit back with just like really nothing that added to the conversation. Just like a little like, oh yeah, that's cool. Oh yeah, da 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 da. So I'm like, if it's like texting, like I'm like texting like mini paragraphs. Well, not even, that's not like a lot, but like really just have like,
why is that a lot? It's a fucking conversation. You're texting.
I just said paragraphs because I didn't want the visual to be like da da da. Texting like da da da, and I'm getting hit with like 1, 2, 3 words back, and just like, okay, this conversation isn't going anywhere, so I'm just like, stop altogether.
I don't know, for me in the past. Okay, so for me, because I'm spiritual. For me, when I see someone, I can kind of feel the energy and tell where it's gonna go. So most of the relationships that I've had, they have always started out, for the most part, as friends first. There was an attraction, but we started out as friends. And so then it led into something more. But yeah, that's for me. For me, I'll give the best example. So I remember when I remember when I first started talking to my ex, well, one of my exes. I remember when I first started talking to him, and there was like an instant spark. Like we was talking, the attraction was there, but it was different because I was able to go beyond just like we all said, like the normal, like, oh, what you doing, yada yada yada, blah 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 blah. But we actually like got to talk and know each other, and then when I met him, the energy, like, you know how you talking to somebody and like you just meeting them, but the energy is there, and so we was able to build upon that. So yeah, for me, it's possible. It's definitely possible, but you have to be clear about if you really like this person or do you just want to have sex with this person. I think a lot of people be trying to have sex with people, and then like people don't be stating their intentions. That's what I think a lot of it is too. Like people just be like, oh yeah, it's a lot of like I said, like it's just the attraction. It's nothing beyond attraction. And so then it's like when you don't really clearly state what you're looking for, then you have somebody who's in the interaction or relationship and they're like, oh, I thought you liked me. And it's really like, no, I just liked how you looked, and I just needed to bust a quick nut real quick. So I don't think that's why I think a lot of people don't really like, the connection doesn't last long, because a lot of people just be going off of attraction and body parts. A lot of people are not really trying to get to know somebody. They trying to get in their pants and not in their mind. And yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of people, if somebody were to say, oh, I'm just trying to bust a nut, do you think they would really, a lot of people are not, especially if you can kind of tell they're not looking for that, the other person's not looking for that, why would they say, oh, I'm just trying to bust a nut? They're going to say what they need to say to bust that nut. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to be 110. Like, nobody's really 110.
In my experience in the past, too, with myself, is that you're saying what you can to, I don't know, and I think that could stem from a fear of rejection, is that sometimes, for me in the past, like I said, navigating being gay and like relationships, I feel like a lot of times I was saying what I needed to say to not feel rejected, but also feel less than what I look like, or what I thought about myself. That was for me. I don't know if everybody's true enough to admit that, but for me it was always like, okay, I'm gonna say I like this person, or I'm attracted to this person. So what can I do to keep the person? It's almost like that fear of like when your parent, say for instance, you really wanted something, or you really wanted your parent to be, just to be there to support you through something, and they didn't. And so you grow into teenage life and adulthood, trying to date people, and then they show that they aren't as interested as they first were, because like I said, they see the looks and they see they see what you look like, and they're attracted to you. And then once they get to know you and you're not offering anything that they particularly want, then it's okay, well, I don't want to talk to you anymore, or they'll just ghost you. So it's just like, okay, then you're sitting back thinking like, okay, what did I do wrong? What is wrong with me? How could I have done that differently to get the expected outcome that I wanted? And for me, it's just been growing up and being like, okay, rejection is God's protection. Like, not everything is meant for you, but also I'm okay with who I am, and whatever they have going on, it's nothing personal to me. It's something personal to them. So I think we also too have to stop personalizing when people reject us, or we're not who they want us to be to them.
Because vice versa.
Yeah.
Like, it happens the same way. People are not what you want them to be. And we're not supposed to. We need to stop having expectations on each other. Point blank, period. Because we're all our own people. We have our own minds. We're going to do whatever the fuck we're going to do. We're going to change. We're not going to stay the same as well. Question for all of us. When the vibe is not right, do you let them know, or do you just do like you said? One word text, or get the ghost?
I'm a ghoster.
I'm kind of both. I'm kind of both. Like, I can go ghost. Oh my gosh. So like, I remember it was somebody that I met online, and they had started DMing me, and it was cool up until, like, literally, this is the first day I met him. I've seen him. I'm talking to him, and we're talking, and he starts to say, he told me where he was from, and I was like, oh, I've never been there. And he was like, oh yeah, maybe me and you, we can do a trip. I'm like, a trip? I just started talking to you.
That's a problem?
I thought it was a problem just because I started talking to you and you are talking about a trip. I'm just like, let's get to know each other more before we go into planning a trip.
That wasn't even planning. That was just like casual. Maybe we could. That was so casual.
No,
it wasn't serious.
It was not casual. It was not. Like, I would say I want to go somewhere, and he like, oh yeah, me and you. Like, literally, I could say I wanted to go to New York, and he was like, oh yeah, me and you, we should go. We should take a trip. I'm like,
that's casual. That's just like, yo, we could, blah blah. Not around the corner. Let's go. I'm about to book our flight. It's not giving that. I feel like
it was giving that. For me, it was giving that, and he was like, it was so from there on, and then that's when I found out his zodiac sign, and I was like, okay, this all makes sense.
What was it?
He was a Pisces, and it was like, literally, I could say something. He done took it beyond what my even thought of it was. And so, like, yeah, and then I remember I stopped talking to him, and so his story would pop up and I would watch it, and then this is like a few months had gone by since we had talked, and then next thing I knew, he saw that I watched his story, and he messaged me, and he was like, could you please stop watching my story? And I was like, I'll do you one better. I'm gonna block you. And so that's what I did.
That is the funniest shit I ever heard. Like, for someone to really say, can you please stop watching my story? You could hide your story from somebody.
He was like, if you're gonna watch my story, if you're not gonna talk to me, then you don't need to watch my story. And I was like, okay, you're right. You are definitely right. So, yeah.
That's funny. Shout out to that person. Shout out to the Pisces.
Pisces. I love you all.
Shout out to him. Leondre, have you had that experience?
Of what?
Oh, the question.
Somebody saying, please stop watching my story.
No. No. Tell me not to watch this shit. But no, I am a ghoster. But it's just because I just don't like to hurt people's feelings.
Ghosting is worse.
I know, and I do know that, and I know that, and I'm trying to work on it. So we'll see the next time something like that happens, because right now, like that is happening. But yeah, I don't like it to hurt people's feelings, so I just be like, I'm just gonna fade away quietly.
I think I've gotten past that feeling though. For me, like hurting people's feelings, because I feel like it's better to say. I think it's better to say what you want and like give that boundary, and then that way for me, cause me, I be like, you know what, these people, they don't really know me for real. So why am I trying to, extend them something that I don't even want to partake in? So for me and my mental peace, I just be like, look, I'm not interested.
So over our conversation, we play games with keys.
Okay.
So we're gonna play a OG game. It's called Fuck, Get Fucked, Suck, or any type of fellatio. We are a bit raunchy over at conversation. I don't know what it's like over here. I'm sorry
It's very spiritual. It's very spiritual.
The spirits be fucking too. What's up?
Speak on it. So it's basically like our version of Fuck, Marry, Kill. Fuck,
okay.
And we just name some niggas that niggas be knowing. And we say who we would let fuck, who we would fuck, who would we suck, get sucked by, ass eating, all the fellatios.
I'm so tired, child. I'm so tired. I'm really tired.
Have like a subcategory of like niggas, but we thought that we would just choose them as a group. So I don't know. We can just like names of just men that we would know. How many does it need to be again? Oh, I forget.
4.
Okay, 4.
Okay.
Yeah, you can name them all.
No, I don't.
No, just name them all. That would be perfect. Because we're being interactive.
Just 3 more. You're almost there.
Okay, let's see. Lil Nas X, Milan Christopher, Chris Brown, and a wild card. Maybe like a Lakeith Stanfield.
Why did I know Lakeith Stanfield was coming? Like, I knew it ever since we were about to start this game. Like, I knew it.
So who's gonna go first?
I'll go. I would let Milan get fucked by me. I would let Chris Brown suck my dick. I would let... Who was the first one? Lil Nas X. I would let Lil Nas X fuck me and then Lakeith, I'll eat his ass.
I love all of this. Me personally, Lil Nas X can eat my ass. Milan Christopher. Oh wait, actually I'll take that back. Milan can eat my ass. Lil Nas X. No, actually I'll keep it. Lil Nas X can eat my ass. Milan can suck my dick.
No.
Chris Brown can... I'll fuck Chris Brown.
First of all, you can't get your ass ate and get your dick sucked. That's not how it goes.
Oh, child.
It just went.
No, it does not.
I feel like I've done this before in the past.
No. It's not how it goes.
You are really working on it.
Play the game right.
Lakeith can fuck. And you said what?
You have to get oral one way, and you have to give oral one way.
I'll give Lil Nas X head.
Chris Brown.
What did I say? I said I'm fucking him. What do you mean?
I didn't hear.
Okay, Marshawn.
In a world where if I was a bottom, Lil Nas X could top.
I gotta add the extras.
What is it? Okay, so fuck, face in the place,
Face the play.
fellatio, and what's the other one?
Fuck, get fucked, suck, get sucked, or any type of relationship.
Okay. Maybe get sucked by Blonde Christopher. I will suck Lakeith and Chris Brown. I don't want Chris Brown with his face in my place. Maybe we kiss and call it a day.
You gotta
So his face is in your place. Shout out.
Oh, child.
And that's fuck, get sucked, get fucked, get whatever.
That brings us to the end of this episode. We hope that you enjoyed tonight's show. Let me know in the comments what's your thoughts on gay men when it comes to femininity or even about your own femininity. I hope that this episode was really beneficial to you in some way, and I hope that this episode can be the catalyst to begin your healing. As always, with much gratitude, thank you for coming to watch and listen to Friendship Full Circle. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and review us on YouTube and anywhere this show exists. And be sure to come back for the next episode. Until next time, peace and greetings.
Bye.